Right now, it's time to round up one of the biggest topics of the week. U.S. facilities around the world put on high alert after a controversial report by Democrats on the Senate Intelligence Committee accusing the CIA of torturing terror suspects captured after 9/11. The CIA's director acknowledged that agency officers did, quote, abhorrent things to detainees, but he defended the interrogation program for stopping attacks and saving lives. Now, many people around the world are saying the CIA went too far, and some are asking if the agency misled the Bush administration. So that's our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page and on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26for Life. Joining us live in the newsroom again is our roundup panel led by our Fox 26 legal analyst, Chris Triticote. What do you think, Chris? Did they go too far?
Well, assuming that this report has the truth and time will tell, yes, they went too far. But and I agree with the president on this, in the wake of what we went through at the time and the decisions that had to be made at the time, I think the president's right that we're not going to prosecute anybody on this. But my question is, and the harder question to answer is how can the United States continue to lead the world in stopping torture by governments if we're going to engage in the same conduct? And that's really where we have to look to move forward on this. Let me introduce our panel. Mustafa Tamiz, our political analyst, Jackie Valley, public policy analyst. Assuming that the report is true, for the purposes of our discussion, because I don't want to debate whether or not the Senate got it right. I don't think we have time for that. How can the United States continue to lead the world in stopping torture by governments we disagree with when we're engaging in the same tactics?
I think a lot of us question the report because it is partisan in nature. I'm not going to say if it's true or not, but it is partisan in nature because of who came out with the report. But I take up the fact that a lot of people are saying that what the CIA, what a lot of us did is torture, when I think what torture is when you're coming into our country, what the terrorists did, and attacking us on 9/11. That's torture. And maybe some of the things that were, some of the methods that were used we don't approve of, but it did stop attacks, it did save lives, and it did protect Americans.
Is there
and I think we need to look at that first and foremost. I think the people who, at the time, they did what they tried to do, which was best after being attacked by terrorists. And I don't think waterboarding, and that's a lot of what the report is saying that we did, I don't think that's terrorist. I don't think that's something that, it's not something that we would want to do on an everyday basis, but these people are terrorists.
Well, you do recognize the United States has treaties with governments that we won't, that's banned waterboarding and the other things that the United States did in this.
Not with these governments. These are people that came into our country.
That's not my question.
No, but I'm giving you my answer.
Okay.
These people came into our country, attacked us, and so whatever the methodology that we use maybe is not the best, but we were trying to save our lives and to protect the American people.
If, as Jackie says, and I'm paraphrasing, the ends justify the means, how does the United States continue to lead the world in stopping this type of conduct?
It's difficult in a sense that if you look at the report, it only looked at documents that came out of the CIA. And what it really zeroed in on was that none of the information that was extracted by these methods led to our safety in any way, shape, or form. That all of the attacks that have been avoided were avoided because somebody came forward and told us about this. And the reason why people come to the United States and the reason why we've got so much cooperation around the world is because we hold this moral authority. And if we lose our moral authority around the world, then the only thing we have is our stick. That means that the only people that would not harm us are people that are afraid of us. And what we've learned in recent history is that that is no longer what protects us. What protects us is our ability to say that we hold these ideals in a way that, you know, the whole world looks at us as a light. But if we're not the light to the world, then how are we going to secure us when people are willing to give up their lives to attack us?
So should the president open the Justice Department up to investigate?
Look, at this point, we have to find a way that this doesn't happen in the future. One way is by prosecuting those that have committed this. The other way is to have an open dialogue. And the purpose of this report was really to have an open dialogue. Because people talk about this as, unless we talk about these issues in a public space and get all Americans involved, we'll never have a debate that settles these issues.
You know, the Republicans in the Senate refused to participate in this. So you said it was partisan earlier, but they refused to participate in it and make it a bipartisan investigation. But I want to ask you about it.
It is partisan because it was created by Democrats.
Well,
and the reason why they refused
hang on,
is
but the
because
Republicans refused to participate. But here's my question. Dick Cheney came out and lambasted the report, then admitted he'd never read it. Then, the next day, threw President Bush under the bus and said President Bush knew about all of this as it went on. And the report even found that Bush was deceived by the CIA. What's Dick Cheney's motive here?
Well, I didn't see the report that you're referring to with Dick Cheney, but Dick Cheney is trying to say that, look, when I was in my position, I did my job and I reported to the president. I'm sure the president knew quite a few things that was going on. Did he know every single detail? I'm sure he didn't. What president does. But Dick Cheney is saying, look, I did my job and I reported to the president. I'm assuming that's what he's saying. The reason why we're not going to go back into this is because we should, if this report is accurate, if some of the facts coming from this report are accurate, let's look at some of the methods and the policies that are used and implemented by the CIA. But to go back 10, 11, 14, 15 years and say, look, things that you did, we're not quite sure if you did it or not, let's prosecute, that's wrong.
Were the Republicans right or wrong to stay out of this?
Look, they're wrong to stay out of it, and this report looked at documents, so it's backed up. It's not like there are accusations being made that people disagree with. This is factual information that is documented by CIA, material. So no one's documented facts as to whether the report should come out or not.
But it was politically motivated, and it was politically motivated by one party.
Motivated?
It was politically motivated by, we're talking about this topic, it was politically motivated by the Democrats, and that's why you're seeing this report, and it's very slanted in a very partisan way.
But is Benghazi politically motivated?
A lot of
all
things.
8 investigations? All right, we're going to have to leave it right there.
This report was politically motivated.
That'll be it for this week, Sally. We'll be back next week.
All right, good discussion. Thanks, guys. We'll see you then.